that she did to find out what it was, who needed to know about it. And she, put all these pieces together. But it's a multiple, it was made to be printed many times and then circulated and sold to raise money. So my biggest question is, where are the others? Why did it take so long to find one? And if there are multiples out there, where are they? Why they certainly weren't in any of the archives that I went to. And it does make sense that this would have been in someone's home, because a person would have purchased this in exchange for, some of the money that would then go to the sculpture. So it does make sense that it's in private hands. I'm very surprised that they haven't made it into the archives, and since they haven't, where are they?
Great question. Well, I'm going to give the last question to Marian Bennett, since she did the find, and let her ask if there's any question that you have for Dr. Gold. But let me address one of the questions that came from the chat. That was Robert Garland wants to know the age of Allen in the Rembrandt, what's his last, Rembrandt Peale's painting. He was in his 60s at that time. Allen was born in 1760, and that was done, I believe, somewhere in the 1820s. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's the last painting. Richard Newman's book, if you want to see more Possible Freedom, you can actually take a look. I think Richard has about 3 or 4 different images from when Allen was very young up until this great picture. And this picture hangs as well, a copy of this in the Mother Bethel Museum. Oh, let me throw a shameless plug in for Ann Saunders and the Historical Society. We are now doing virtual tours. We'll post in the chat again. Email us at motherbetheltours@gmail.com, motherbetheltours@gmail.com for group tours, your churches, your friends, family reunions, if you want to do a virtual tour of the museum to learn more. Marian, do you have any final question or comments? We'd love to hear from you.
Well, again, thank you so much for letting me be part of this wonderful event. And I want to introduce my daughter, Marie, who's heard me talk about this print now constantly since we brought it up from the car. I don't really have any questions for Dr. Gold, but just to thank her for all the research she has done, for the information we have about the monument, the Centennial, and the participation of African Americans in the Centennial, and how they fought for participation in it. It's an amazing story. I can, like I say, I don't know when it came into my family. I don't know if it came rolled up in a tube when it was first published. And looking at the frame and the papers behind the print, there is an ad in color that I am having framed now. It's at the frame shop that advertises a tobacco company. And the date I found for the tobacco company is 1886. So whatever that means, did they just keep that piece of paper and put it back there in 1900? When was it framed? I have no way of knowing. I don't know if it came into my family already framed. So those are mysteries. And everyone who would have seen it is now dead. And in all of the time I spent in my grandmother's house, I don't remember seeing it on the walls. So it's still a mystery for us.
Wow. Well, listen, we want to thank you and want to thank Dr. Gold as well. I wish this is the one part about virtual that you can't do, but trust me, all over the place right now, we are applauding and celebrating the both of you for tonight. And this has been just really wonderful. Before we go back to Ann Saunders, the president of our Historical Society, who's going to close us out with her final remarks and introduce Reverend Harry Taylor, who will close this in prayer. Let me say that, this is such a small world that Jesse Devine, the Reverend Jesse Devine, was my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was an AME preacher, born in Pennsylvania, served in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and after the Civil War, for some reason, uprooted his entire family and went west and ended up in Little Rock, Arkansas. And there he served as a presiding elder, helping JT Jennifer, who has talked about this presentation and worked alongside with others like Chambers and others in Arkansas, building out the AME Church there, where he served until his death in January of 1876. So he was a part of the fundraising effort.